when you live down there and find out the ocean breeze.
Om Sanabhadru Sanabhadru Sarveyam Karavavai Tejasvinavidhimastu Ma Vidvishavai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I have to take this out now. And I put this dress. It is taking a little longer.
Anybody not signed in? Louis.
Hey, Mike.
Tom has not signed it.
Okay, I'll get it up to him.
Mike, will you turn off my phone?
Oh, sure thing.
Or just left side vibrate?
Okay. First thing is first. Food first. Once you are fed, you can listen better. Or you can go to sleep. Both are
Right. I was thinking more of the latter, not going to sleep.
So both conditions are good. Because those who listen, they will listen. Those who go to sleep, they sleep. And that is the part of the whole game. Okay? So, Govind, Hari, you are ready?
He went outside.
How do you know?
He's back.
He's going home.
He's going on.
No, Harry's back.
Thank you. Hari went to Vrindavan.
Where is Huddy?
Maybe physically.
Are you guys
Some of
ready?
us are waiting.
Are you guys ready to serve?
So,
Yes? Hold on.
We were talking to y'all.
Are you set up to serve yet?
Oh, hi.
The
yes.
salad is in the car.
We're having hot salad. It's not ready. The salad is
I
in-
love hot salad.
the salad is in the car, sir.
okay, so
the
bring the
salad's not
salad.
here yet.
When you bring the salad, up to that time I
Okay.
can talk?
When the salad comes, we'll eat first.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as the salad rolls.
Okay. So, if you go to internet and put Guru Purnima, you will get all the information. Therefore, I am not to say anything about it. The only thing I will say, it is the connection between the teacher and the student. And today is the day when they respect, because in the olden times there was no fee charging. The student will come, teacher will teach, there's nothing involved in it. But on this day, they can offer their services and they can get ready to do the further work. So that's the way this day was celebrated. Yes,
When you were at Kavaladam,
yes.
Swamiji was still alive, and it was Guru Purnima. What did you, as his students, do?
What'd y'all do?
What'd y'all do?
I did not have much contact about Guru Purnima at that time.
Okay.
The only part was that every day was Havan going on every day for 360 days a year.
Morning and
360
evening?
morning, evening, like that. And sometimes only evening and blow the conch and all this type of things were there.
And he was there?
Yeah, no, he was in Bombay at that time because he was not commuting too much from Bombay because he was old and therefore it was very restricted observation of Swamiji. Because I remember when the first time when I came in, I was surprised because I was sent the bullock cart to the station. So I came in the bullock cart and to the ashram. And when I came to the ashram, went to the hut of Swamiji's, and he was there, and as my tradition, I tried to touch his feet, and he picked me up, said, oh, like this, and then that was there, and then I was given a space to stay, and in that place, it was just near the kutia. Kutia means hut, in a small place, and it was very interesting for me because it was a new experience for me. And I made a lot of errors of judgment of what I is supposed to do there. Because I came in and Arjun Das Batra is in another room and I was in another room, and Arjun Batra was one of the students. And he has a toothbrush of the stick. We take from the plant of the tree and we chew it and we do toothbrush like this. So he put in the lota the toothstick, and I thought it's for me because I'm a new one. So I took it out. So that was, and he said, where is my toothbrush? So,
You didn't put it in the fire though, did you?
so, see, many times when you go to a new place, and I was so new about that whole culture and everything, that for the first time, and let me tell you how I went there. I heard on All India Radio his speech, Swami Kolan's speech. So I contacted him. When I contacted him, I was intermediate class.
How old?
I must be very young, pretty young, you can say that way.
Okay.
So he sent me a letter and he said, well, do BA and then apply. So I did my BA and then I applied.
You got your bachelor's.
Yeah, bachelor's.
Okay.
I did my bachelor's and then I applied. Then I wrote a letter again. So he said, do MA and then come. So I did my MA and then I applied again. Then he said, okay, now you can come. Otherwise he has to take an interview before he will admit in the school. So he said, considering the distance, I will allow you, and so you come. So when I went there, first of all, the Lonavala, from Bombay to Lonavala, is quite a path. In olden times, now it is better. At least 18-20 tunnels you have to go, the train will go through, and then you can come out, and then you come out to Lonavala, and then on Lonavala, on the railway station, the bullock cart was there. And I didn't know, but a guy knew that I am coming, so he gave a signal that Kavale Dham, all this. So I sat on the bullock cart, and bullock cart, I came to the...
So can I make sure everybody's clear that you're not saying bullet car, you're saying bullock cart? Bullock cart.
The cart has a bull in it.
It's one bull power. One or two bulls?
Two bulls.
One or two?
I think it was one bull.
Okay. No bull.
So that way I came in, and my first experience was remarkable, there's no question about it. When I went to the kuti, and he will not see anybody without appointment. So first I was sheltered first, the next day I was asked to come to see him. Then went there. And then whole thing started. And then my classes started after that. And then the classes was remarkable, which I'm working now to to do whatever notes I have taken from his class. At that time, I took the notes, work in the library, work on the all places, and then at that time I did not even understand it properly. I just
Understand the what?
Properly.
I properly I did not understand it. I took a note, and what he used to do, write on the board. Everything written before. You go there, you sit on the bench, 5, 6 people, and that was the only students we had, because he was very selective at that time. And that was a 2 years course at that time, and afterwards it became a 1 year course. So we went there, and he will do that, and he will take one line of Sanskrit and then explain, and then after explanation we finish in the class, and then we go to the kitchen. And kitchen was sitting on the floor, and little bit plate was there to put it on, and we eat food like that. And then after 11:30 we will go back and have a little rest, and then the class start afternoon, and then it was very systematic program. And after that, what really happened with me, that he gave me a lot of responsibilities. And one responsibility was that I have to provide the food for the kitchen. Yeah, and control it, so whosoever eats it. And I can never forget that how it was new to me about this whole thing. And then we will eat, and slowly, sometimes the food will become like less, then what to do? So I have the cook, and who was able to do it properly, and sometimes he will not make it enough. So I have to go there and check it in the kitchen why the food is not coming out there. So a lot of experience of that nature was very, very nice in that respect. And then we become a very good team, all people together, go to the class, attend all those things, and then we have to go to the laboratory for the experiment. And so sometimes we will say, oh, you are like a guinea pigs. Okay, something like it. But we enjoyed it by participating in the test. And then the laboratory was fantastic, all those things. And whenever I think about it, it was remarkable when he was there. And then one day, I had a very interesting things. I used to have a wooden sandal to walk on. And so he looked at me, and then that's all right. I had nails like this big. At that time I did not cut my nails. So I was pretty weird.
Good to see nothing changed.
I'm little tamed here, but there, and then he realized it. He did not do anything, but slowly, I understood the whole mechanism of it. And then there's a lot of things, and you will be surprised. I'm working of teachings of the classes, which is 10 or 11 classes he took in the whole 2 years. So I made a note, and that perhaps, fortunately, it will come out sometime. And at that time, our professors were fantastic. One was from a lot of training on different countries, London and all those things, as he was retired, so he was teaching mental health and all that. And the other professor was Sanskrit professor, another was teaching the whole system of the countries, the old traditions and all those. It was those teachers, whenever I think about it, I may not find in my life like that. And that's why when I wrote my small books, in all the small books, I give that credit to them, that how I did
Yeah.
that. One teacher, we used to go to hear the story for Mahabharata, and he was a teaching anatomy and physiology, but he was also very good at it. And in the night, we will go to see the stars, and we will all follow him where the stars are and where things are and all this. He will teach all those things like this. So it was like a family, like a ashram, as they say. You sit there with them, they will teach you, and then sometimes they will invite you in their home, we eat food in there, and we'll come there like that. Whole things is now different than before. Now we have a different place to go for learning and all those things. And then we have a class. In the class, sometimes he will pop up without telling. And Garote was one of our practical teachers. He was teaching us asanas and all that. And he was not teaching each asana first day, and then after first you do, and he will observe it like that. There was another teacher who was able to stop the heart or something, experiment like that. And then Ramanand was also there, and Ramanand's things was to do the experiments were done on him in the laboratory regarding the oxygen, how much oxygen is taken, so how much carbon dioxide goes out, something like that. So, and people will come from all over the world during that period to look at it and this, and from government of India a lot of people visited. So that way it was a very interesting experience, and I think that's more than enough I can tell you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, because you people are different.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Is Guru Puram an appropriate time to give finances to the teacher?
yes, that was the time. Not only finances, the promise also that they will go and teach, do something like that also.
Commitment to teach.
The commitment to do the service. Once their education is over, that's the time they do. And now, if you can go to internet, there are a lot of Wikipedia and all those. They give the when the time is and accurate this, and there's nothing which I have to tell you about it. Anything you want, go to YouTube. Anything you want, go there. And fantastic informations are there. But along with the fantastic, you have some other information which when you do not need, which pops up in between. So you have to be careful enough what to take, what not to take, because that's the part of the thing. As Kabira says, साधु ऐसा चाहिए जैसे सूप सुबाए, सार सार को गहरे थोता दे उड़ाए. You have to be like a person who can take the chef out and take the kernel in, and that by moving it. You remember the olden times? They have a sifter like that. And you
Sifting
take-
the wheat, the chaff from the wheat.
Right. So you have to be like that. You will find, and know one teacher and many students. But in general, it is the rapport that makes the education go. You cannot learn by paying money. You learn by your rapport. And that's why it is very important for the teacher or a student. In the same class, most of the time, Gurustu Maunam Vyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Sanshaya. Teacher comes, sits in the class, and all the doubts of the students disappear. He does not even utter a word. He will just sit there, you come there, you sit there, so how you can imagine? This is a very, very important part. The education and teaching does not come from outside. That's the word guru means one who dispels the darkness. Darkness, nobody dispels from outside. You dispel your own darkness by going in. And that is the important part of it. If that teacher can trigger that part, his work is done. And that is the important part of it. Okay? Now, Hari, you are ready?
Has to go get the salad.
Yes, doctor.
So, so let us have food, and then after the food, if I have time, I can entertain you a little bit more.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So blow the conch. How Swami Koalanan find good teachers. The year when I was there, I found it out that those people were all retired first. And once they are retired, then he has the information because he was in touch with a lot of educated people that this is retired. He inquired them whether they can join, and so therefore they joined. And it was not a method of payment business. Whatever he was able to do that, he will do that. And that's why excellent teachers, no question about it. In the field, I still have their notes and I feel like, my God, what they did. And they were so systematic that I was amazed. And thank God I have notes, and particularly I'm working on Swamiji's notes, and if God permits, it will come out soon.
Yay.
And otherwise, the other teachers were also there. When some teacher left, some teacher passed away, okay? So one teacher when he left, and we used to have people coming out from colleges, doing Ph.Ds, MAs and all those, and learning yoga and all those subjects in Kabbalah. So once one teacher left, and he was teaching mental health and yoga and mental health. So one day what happened, when he left, Swamiji called me. He said, Vijay, you have to teach this class. My heart fell down. I said, my God, I cannot do it. Because he was so fantastic and I cannot do that. So I said, Swamiji, that's not it. I cannot do that. He said, no, you can do it. Period. That was the day I spent so much time in the library. Library was fantastic. Our library of Kabbalah regarding books is fantastic, no question. So I will go in the evening, stay there as long as I want, come back. Next day I will go and teach the class. And my subject goes out within half an hour. When the class is for 1 hour.
You ran out of material in a half hour?
What can I do? So I prayed to God. Prayer is always done in the beginning. Prayer done. So what I did, I developed a technique. And that technique is still with me. I write on the board what I'm going to say. And when I write the board, then it takes time. And when it
You
takes
stretched it out.
and then I want, and then I can explain.
Right.
And that technique helped me tremendously
Yes.
because I'm up to the point and I can do that. Now I have not to worry about it. I close my eyes, see the people, talk. And that was his belief system was so strong. Well, Vijay, you can do it. Someday I can do it because I have never done it like this. On people, those who are more educated than me, and they will be in my class. How can I do it?
He said, period, you could do it.
That is one part. The second part came out that we have a good physiological and X-ray and all those department, but we do not have a psychological laboratory. So one day he invited me, he asked me, Vijay, go to Pune or contact any place, have all psychological possible instruments. I went there and there was a company which creates a psychological instrument and all that. I bought it. I went there, I bought it, put there. People come from visiting the library, I will have a test and all this, the reaction and all this kind of things. It was fabulous. The main part was my own experience was this, that I was doing some experiments. And in one experiment, when I was doing it, I got so much result which was surprising to me. Person was reporting it to me which I never expected. So what I did, we have a hospital also, yoga hospital, and some people come from outside for yogic training and sometimes treatment and all that. There was a one man who was, I still have their instrument here. He came in, I did some experiment with him. He was cured like this. When this happened, I never expected that. I was doing the experiment, and in that experiment, when he went to the hospital, he was free. And he went to doctor, to doctor, to doctor. He was not cured. So something was mental. And when this happened, he invited me to his place. He has a place in different places. And anything you want, any instrument you want from his company, you can have it. Like that. And up to the time when I was there, he was always available to me, anything I want.
That's beautiful.
So that was a surprise to me because I was just doing the experiment and the person reported something.
Right.
And I said, this
Sure.
is not in the experiment. How is reporting it? That's the part. So that was another help to me. And that's why I'm saying that you don't know that how help comes.
Right.
And that's the way it happened. And then, how I came to this country, there's another funny part of it. People generally, when they come to the laboratory, they come in from Russia, they come from China, they come from this, and they always say, oh, come to our country and do this and all that. I say, well, everybody says that. That's all right. And they forget when they go home. After some time, I received a letter, and it got a ticket. Come to United States to teach our teachers. I didn't even have a passport at that time. So I went to the office, got the passport, and came out, and I was 7 days late according to their date. And but somehow I got it. And then when I came to United States, at that time plane used to stop 5 places. At that time, in 1971, plane stopped like 5 places before it comes to United
Right.
States. And in Frankfurt, when I was there, they moved me on one gate and they started from another gate to come to United States,
Right.
to London, and then from London to United States. And I could not understand their language. So they were practically closing the door and plane was going. And I have only passport in my pocket, nothing else, everything was in the plane. And so one guy who was at the door, he said, "They're looking for you. Look, your plane, your plane." And so I went towards the plane and they were practically closing the door. And when they were closing the door, the girl looked at me as if I had done some crime. I went in and I said, "Oh God." I sat. And then I asked the guy who was sitting near me, "Where are you going?" "Well, I'm going to New York." Well, that's fine. I will be with this guy. So I get down in London, because London plane again changes. And I was with him all the time.
You followed him all the time because you always going to New York too.
Because New York. So when I was coming to, he said, on the airport, you have a certain thing to buy, and they are cheaper rate,
Yes,
tax free,
duty free.
duty free.
Right.
So he said, "Can you take some these bottles?"
Whiskey.
Something like that. And I said, "I'm going to yoga place." To get out with this.
You're looking for place to bring all this whiskey with me. No way.
So he agreed with that. Then I get down and I was thinking that how, when I get down, how can I find them? So they have the name on the plate. So
Yeah.
so they showed me.
Chauffeur, somebody can pick you up.
Right. So I went there, and when I got down, everybody was running. So I said, "Well, where they are running? Well, that is the way they are going to catch some other plane." And to me, it was a fast, very fast life.
Sure.
So I come there, and when I come there, immediately from that place, I went to the class place. And it was Montclair. Okay. So I came there, went to the class. And when I went to the class, everybody was in leotard. Girl and boys and everybody. When I looked at it, I said, "My God, I'm in a very
Strange place.
strange land." My accents were very different. And I studied only Hindi and Sanskrit, all this, English not my language at all. So I came in, they will ask me some question, I will reply, half they understand, half I understand them. But anyhow, somehow it went well. And when it went well, then slowly we started the classes. And when the classes started, then every day I taught so many classes that in the evening at like 7 or 8 o'clock, we will return to home. And when we returned to home to go Dairy Queen for
Oh, yeah, you told me that. You told me this part. I know this.
the Dairy Queen,
Every
I
day.
hooked with that drink. And
Milkshake.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Every day.
every day. And then we come there, and then we go to sleep, and the next day it starts again. So it was continuous for a long time. And then during that period, I met certain people, and then I traveled in this country. Swami Rama was here in Philadelphia at that time. Swami Rama was also teaching an institute for living. and Kurtz Kunyasko. Kurtz Kunyasko was, and there they have a meeting and then new therapies and all those things. So I didn't know about, I read those therapies in the book, but practical knowledge I didn't have it. So they have some, and they sit loud like this group, and they one by one they will say certain things, and some in between will say bullshit. And I didn't know what bullshit is at the time. So go through like this in the class, and then we have a Zen master coming over there and teaching Zazen and all those practices in the Kurt Kunyasko place. And Kurt was very, very affectionate to me. In that, and I learned a lot. And then from there, I go to Jefferson one time, and I met Barbara also there, and she was in social work at that time. And these people all came to Kurt Kunyasko's place.
Well, what happened was, after I met Doctor and came home, because Gary and I had done yoga from a book the spring before, so I said, we have a teacher. But Gary's nature was that, you know, he did the first walk on Walnut Street. He did the first Super Sunday. He was like Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey
Right.
Circus. So he said, we'll find out where else he's teaching, because at Jefferson it was only for staff and faculty. I mean, it wasn't for the outside person. So I asked Doctor, and he said, I come to Institute for Living, and that it was Christmas, so right after Christmas. But of course, Gary, being who he was, we showed up with 12 people. I mean, we just walked in, and of course, you know, that was, and then that went on from there.
And then the story is pretty long about this whole thing. I came only for 45 days.
And here you are 45 years later.
It was 45 years. And the time I came in, then what happened? Then I said, some students were there, then what should I do? Because I was invited in Tokyo to give a lecture in International Psychology Conference. And so I was assisted Joy Gorin. Joy Gorin was one of the students of Swami Rama. So she suggested, why do I not take a, what you call, permanent residence or something like that. So you have not to have a problem. I said, I don't know anything about it. So I said, okay. So she suggested some lawyer, and I went there, and he looked at my, and he said, I'll get it. And the reason was because I was invited in Tokyo, and I'm this and that, so it was quite a bit information.
Mm-hmm.
So he filled the form, and I got it.
Right.
And when I got this, then I had problem. How can I go to Tokyo, because I don't have money to go to Tokyo?
Right.
Because I was designed to go back to India and from India to Tokyo. But how can I? So I was just waiting. And then Swami Rama used to send some people to learn yoga from me. And I was 1324 Southeast Street. Person comes, I teach, and they go, and another time person came again. Then she said to me, are you really Ph.D.? Why are you asking me this? You don't charge me. That's the first time I understood that charging is important.
Right.
Free is not important.
No.
So I said, whatever you feel it. Okay. So that way it was done at that time. And then I met yes. So then what happened? So I was teaching here and there, and I was quiet and sitting there. He said, brother, what is it? is there anything I can do for you? No, I'm just thinking that what I will do, how can I go to Tokyo and then come back again. Next day she came out $2,000 in my hand. And the ticket was only 1,000 some money. So I took it and I went around, stopped a lot of places, came back and then started teaching. And then I was teaching in a lot of places I taught. Minneapolis, Chicago.
I have to footnote.
Yeah.
When he was in Japan, they fed him a lobster.
I was invited in the host house
Right.
and they have a rotating table. You sit there and the table rotates. Okay. And in the middle was a lobster, big and stuffed with material and all this. And I don't think it's. But the host was so good that we have a rice and yogurt.
Right.
Okay. One Indian guy was there. What is wrong with you? Eat something and there's nothing. I cannot do that.
Right.
Right. So I ate it, and then that way I have a lot of communication with the Japanese scientists. And some people did zazen, some people did study on this, some study like this. And it was interesting part. When I was giving a Tokyo lecture, one of my professor who came to examine me for my master's degree in India, he was also in the audience.
Mm.
He was surprised to see me because I have an encounter with him before. Because in my field of experiments, I was fabulous. There's no question in that, in my mind. And he said, this is not correct. So I took him to the lab and I said, look at it, how it records. His machine was different and my machine was different. So he had a different idea.
Right.
So when he saw it, he was very quiet.
Right.
So when he met me in that conference,
He believed you.
he's surprised afterwards. So sometimes these things happen.
Yeah.
And then the story is too long. I went to Esalen, I taught a lot of people there, and I was never naked in Esalen, so and people have to sit in the tub bath without clothes and all those things and see the sea and all those things.
They saved that for Thursday nights.
So that is the part.
When our audience is a little more, a little smaller.
Whenever you come to any country, you don't know how you face and how you understand people. But people all around the world, I found they are sweet, they are fantastic. Once in a while, when you go on the street, they will shout like Jesus or something like that. That's all. Otherwise, people all around the world, they are fantastic. I never have any difficulty in any country. So that's the story, and that's short, and that's time. Okay, so let's do the prayer. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pasyantu Ma Kashintu Bhavave Om Shanti Shanti Shanti